Hey everyone, welcome back. It is Vortie here. We're going to take a look at a few things. We're going to be looking at the characters. But right before that, I just wanted to show you guys something that might be able to help you guys a little bit. If you go to craft, this is once you picked up all your recipes and eggs. And hang on, let me show you that too before I start. So if you go to Vortex, you go to the egg seasonal event and you go into the egg seekers event. There are 2 chests in the event there and you picked them up and you got the recipes. You can actually go to your crafting. We'll pick up these 2 rings too because what the hell, I hate looking at them. So you click on your equipment, you go to accessories, and as you can see my eggs are already at the top. To make sure that they appear right away for you, if you go to sort, you go by type, do descending and click confirm, they will be the first things that appear. It's going to make it a lot easier for you to craft. The good news about the eggs, when you're crafting them, they are instant. So you can just click craft and they're done. Okay, so just for myself, I'm going to do 1 of each. And as you can see, they are finicioso and they're just sitting there for you, ready for you to pick them up. Okay, just wanted to show you that real quick. And then what we're going to do is going to be something very interesting. So first thing I'm going to show you guys here. Bam! Bam! So right before we jump into looking at the characters, I wanted to show you this thread. So quick shout out to Final Fantasy Brave Exvia's Reddit forums. This is Felix CL. Shout out to him for doing this math here. I was looking at this earlier in the day when I was on the train and stuff, and I was just kind of looking at it and I'm like, you know what, this makes a lot of sense. And I wanted to share that with you guys. So this essentially tells you exactly how much you're going to need to be able to make everything at least once. So it says, so in total to get everything at least once, excluding the egg accessory, would be 2,400 red, 1,800 blue, and it's supposed to be 191 rainbow, and 1 of each power and mind crystal to be able to get everything at least once. So that's what you're looking for, boys and girls. That's what you need in order to be able to create everything at least once. This is not counting the gil you would need, obviously, so you would definitely take a look into that. The other thing is that you are also going to be getting TMs, Cactors, and Gill Snappers, and you'll be getting stuff like the 5-star Trust Moogles for Zon, Aiden, and Fvia. Okay, so I wanted to show you guys that. If you want to go into it, you can go to the Final Fantasy Brave Exvia's Reddit forum, and you guys can take a look exactly at all these things and definitely help contribute to the community. So we're going to jump in and we're going to be taking a look at our girl Aiden. I'm going to zoom in a little bit to make it easier for you guys to read. Alright. It look a little bit funky. 110% looks good. Alright, so Aiden. Aiden is going to be our healer. He's the celery stick. He's the celery stick here. He's going to be the healer. He goes in at 3-star, going up to 5-star. I did 7 pulls. I got 2 gold crystals, which were... frick, who the hell cares? It wasn't Zon. It was a bunch of other crap. And then 2 of them were Aiden. So I did get 2 Aidens. I do have him. His healer is his role is healer. His healer is a role. So his role is healer. He's an FFBE original. He's got a very good TM. So his TM is called Vestment of the Mind. He gets auto refresh 3% of the base MP, which is badass. This is definitely a good TM to have on support units, on healers for sure, or any unit that can wear a robe that needs MP in the fight. So it's very, very badass. If you do get him, you should definitely farm it out. I already put him on my TM farming group right away. So overall stats, Squadaroo, his overall stats are being gimped out by the fact that he is a 5-star. Hopefully later on he will get a 6-star. But overall the stats are just, his MP is weak. Everything is really, really low on him. Right, and as he grows, you can see his stats, they don't grow as fast. He's got no innate resistances or anything. He's very limited as far as his gear, which is not a surprise. He is a white mage. What he does have different than most white mages, he can wear daggers, which is actually not that bad. He gets hats, cloth, light armor, which is really weird, robe, and an accessory. He is a little bit of an angry fella. He does get affinity to white and black magic, which is kind of cool. He gets 8 for white and 5, level 5 for dark. Alright, his abilities here. So special. So these are active abilities that he can kind of use. It costs him 18 MP for the first one. It's called Furious Rays. When there's a dead target, he can use Furious Rays and it'll randomly pick one of the 2. he's got a 60% chance, so he's got a higher chance of getting a raise minor. So he will raise someone and revive the unit, and they will only be raised by 10% hit points, which is fine. And then he's got a 40% chance to raise full, which will revive a unit to 100% hit points, which is actually also pretty cool. So if you don't have a full raised unit, then this is a half. This is a 40% chance full raised unit, so it's still not that bad. He's also got an ability called Burst Heal, which is actually kind of interesting. I really like this move, but then I'm also kind of like, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. So what it does is it 50% heal. So 50% heal, and there's a cheer. So he's got a 50% chance of casting cheer on your units as he heals them. So the modifier is a little bit weak. It's 800 hit points times 3, which is still not that bad because the MP is pretty big. He will increase your attack and defense by 40% for 3 turns. So he heals you and casts cheer. That's not bad. So it's an AoE heal cheer. Or it's a 50% chance of heal focus. So he'll give you 50% heal, 50% chance to heal focus, and he will heal you for 1500 hit points, multiplier of 3 to all allies, and he will increase magic and spirit by 40%. Really, really badass. So he will do a Kiraja type heal, and it'll either be a attack buff or a magic buff. So attack, defense, or magic and spirit. Very, very, very cool. Then he gets a few little traits here. These are all passives. He gets hit points for 20%. He gets a thing called Mind Shield. It's active right away. I've seen it work a few times already. I think mine's level 20 or whatever. He gets hit, and he will actually heal MP, which is really cool. He'll get a little bit of MP back. I think it's like 14 or 15. At least in my case, it was 14 or 15. Oh, recover 20. Sorry, I lied. Right to your ear. So 20 MP approximately is what he gets activated from the heal. So it's not that bad. It's not that bad. You don't want your magic healer getting hit anyways, but if it's an AoE move or AoE magic, he'll at least have a chance to get that back. Here's the big disappointment about this dude. He loads Asuna, which is good. He knows Cure and Cure, and that's it. So really, other than these low-cost heals, he's gonna have to depend on his ability. His active special ability here that is called Burst Heal. So yeah, that's that. So as far as randomly used, I don't know if that means that he randomly does it, because it's an active move that he randomly does it, or you actually pick it and it'll be one of the random things. But whatever, I'll get to that later when we get there. His limit burst is actually not that bad. He will heal. So we'll look at the maximum version here. Max here, so there it is. So max heal, so 800 times 2.5 multiplier to all allies, and he will increase the resistance to all elements for 20% for 3 turns, which is actually not that bad. It's like a mini rainbow veil. It's not that bad. His materials to level up are all right, you know, nothing special. His sprite is definitely badass. As far as white mages and looking like a badass white mage, he looks like a badass white mage. Very, very cool. Especially his 5-star, he looks super badass. I'm gonna get him to 5-star for sure, just because I absolutely love his sprite. When I started playing Final Fantasy XI online, that character I picked was Tartaru, and I went white mage all the way, and I love the white mage set. So that's that. So overall, as far as a unit, if you don't have any healers and you do get him, congratulations, he's okay. Is he going to last as a healer for a long time? Probably not. You should just use him for his TM and then get rid of him. Next is going to be Zon. This is the dude that everyone wants, especially for this current event. He can do that AoE steal like we all know. Everybody wants him. So he's a 4-star base going to 6-star. Probably the best thief we have in the game right now, hands down. He's a physical damage dealing support. FFBE original unit. His TM is called Patches, and Patches is a badass TM. So it is attack, 15 magic, 15 defense, 15 spirit, 15. It's like, what do you call it? Celestial gloves from Lunith, but 15 minus on every stat. However, in return to that, he has an additional effect. Chance to counter attack by 50% with Teddy's Blessing. So what does Teddy's Blessings do? Let me tell you. There's a 50% chance that Teddy's Blessing will cast Snack. Snack will heal for 250 hit points and refresh 10 MP to the caster. Kind of like Noctis's Lucii Ring that does Holy, it recovers MP back, right? MP and hit points or whatever. It heals you back. So it's similar to that, just a little bit weaker. Actually, a lot weaker. Then 30% chance to cast a move called Reckless. Reckless gives a 60% attack and a 30% defense to the caster for 2 turns. So it'll buff your damage by 60%. It'll reduce your defense by 30% for 2 turns. Not bad. Then the big nasty move. 20% to cast a move called Vengeful. Enable the use of a Vengeful Blow. So it'll cast it on itself, and the next turn you will have this move available. It is called Avenging Blow. It does physical damage 6 times multiplier to one enemy, and it'll cost you 45 MP. That is a very strong hitting move, and I have a feeling that it's going to be devastating. If you do get this move is going to be nasty. Because this is an accessory, you can put this on any damage dealer because anybody's going to benefit from it. You got attack 15, defense 15, spirit 15, magic 15. Those could be put on anyone, right? So you can put this on a strong damage dealer like Lunith or Lightning or Noctis or anybody, and you're going to be able to get this crazy physical damage dealing move that will just devastate whoever it attacks, right? So it's a good accessory. All right, let's get into the itty bitty gritty. Statistics, not bad for hit points. His MP is actually really high for a thief, which is pretty good. His attack is also pretty decent, so that's not that bad. Overall stats growth is decent. Resistance is nothing. Selection of weapons is a little bit disappointing, but he is a thief, so it's not that bad. He gets daggers, swords, throwing weapons, and fists, which is not that bad, I suppose. Then he can wear hats and cloth with accessories. He's got no affinity for magic, which is terrible, but he does have 4 ability slots, which is fine. So when you get him, you get him to level 8, which you should do right away. You will unlock the move that everyone wants. It's called Waylay. It'll deal physical damage to all enemies, and it'll steal 50% from all enemies. Later on, he actually ends up getting 100% chance to steal, which is sweet. So you'll always steal from a target, so it's pretty good. He learns escape from battle as well. He learns a sneak attack, which is a 2.5 multiplier damage onto the target, and it'll ignore the defense by 35%, which is 3.85 total to one enemy, and it'll also decrease that enemy's defense and spirit by 30%. Wait, what? I think I read that wrong. The one enemy decreases defense and spirit 30% for 2 turns to caster. So I guess the thief ends up losing defense and spirit. I misread that. Anyways, Toxic Dagger. Toxic Dagger is actually really cool. This is going to be useful for when we get the King's Glaive event. I always keep mentioning King's Glaive event when we talk about poison. It gives you fixed damage, which is, it's not a big deal. It's the fact that it inflicts the poison 100% to the enemy, no matter what, right? So if they are non-resistant to it, it's going to inflict it. Boom, right? And you can use that to your advantage because poison is a percentage debuff. So like if a monster, let's say it's 20% and the monster has 2 million hit points, or sorry, 1 million hit points for simplicity. So it ticks for 20% life. It's gonna deal 200,000 damage every single time it goes. Not 2,000, 250,000. What am I saying? It'll deal that damage every single time, right? So 250,000 every single time, and it's gonna literally kill them. So in King's Glaive event, you're going to get a monster called Cerebrus, whatever you guys want to call him. And you can actually use that strategy to beat him. You poison him and just make sure he doesn't kill you. He hits really hard, but just make sure he doesn't kill you. And the poison will literally kill him. And if I remember correctly, it was hitting for like 200,000 or 250,000 or something stupid. But whatever. Like, you know, I know how my math is. It's terrible when I'm recording, but that's the idea. It'll tick for 20% of the life. Right, so this is going to be really cool and useful. And these two go very well hand in hand. He casts the poison and then removes all the stat effects from the caster, and he disappears from battle for 1 turn. So he puts poison, disappears. He comes back, puts poison, and make him disappear the next turn as well. So it's pretty cool. You have Rash Impulse. Physical damage 4.8 multiplier to one enemy. It is a 1 hit, so it can't chain. It will inflict 100% paralyze to the enemy and increase the chance of the target, increased chance of being targeted 100% for 2 turns to the caster. So he will hit this target and then he'll cast like Provoke on himself. So he's gonna get the next turn he's gonna get hit for sure. Then you have Desperate Strike. A Desperate Strike is a 5 times multiplier with a critical hit and a chance to fail by 25%. So you have a 75% chance of landing this, but you also have a 25% chance of failing. To the enemy, and decrease attack and defense by 50% for 2 turns to the caster. So you will use this Desperate Strike attack, you'll deal some good damage, but in return you're going to lose 50% attack and defense, which sucks ass. But anyways, it's one of those things. It's a desperate attack. Twist of Fate mirrors a positive status effect from an enemy on all allies and removes all status effects from one enemy. This is the move that they were talking about when they were announcing the characters. This works on bosses, so if you're fighting Gilgamesh, he buffs himself like that super crazy attack defense buff. You can pull that buff off of him, put him on your units instead of having to use the spell. So this is actually pretty crazy. But you have to get him to level 6 star or level 100. But the move itself is like game changing for certain bosses and certain events. Because when Gilgamesh puts that buff on himself, he becomes a freaking beast. So you can actually get that debuff off of him, which is like, I think it's like 300% or something, spirit buff, defense buff, something stupid. But anyways, it literally works on monsters, on bosses, anything. He can steal it and put him on himself. So fantastic move. As far as traits, these are his passive. He has a decreased chance of being targeted by 80%, which is really cool. It's called Concealed. He gets Steal Gills. When he does steal, he will also take money. He will get a 10% attack boost as well. He will, at 5 star level 53, learns the move I was telling you about earlier. It's called Bandit. It means that he will steal 100% no matter what. You use Waylay, he will steal. He's got another move called Light-Footed. Gives him a chance to evade by 20%, giving him the ability to also become 100% evasion, because you need at least 20% innate evasion to make it easier for you to become 100% evade, which is pretty good. So he can also be an evasion build. He gets 20% hit points. Then he learns another trait called On the Edge. Increase defense by 50% for 2 turns when hit point drops below 30%, and also increases his chance of critical for 30% for 2 turns when his hit points drops below 30% as well. And then at level 88, 6 star, he will learn increased drop rate, which is Master Thief. This is the same thing that Locke has. His is called Treasure Hunter, and this guy's is called Master Thief. As far as his ability goes, it's actually not that bad. And we'll look at the last maximum one here. Physical damage, 4.3 multiplier to one enemy. It has a 94% chance to cast Stop for 3 turns on the enemy. And then the Thief will have evade 2 physical damage attacks for the next 2 turns, which is super badass. Alright, as far as his sprite goes, he looks really, really cool. He goes from like looking like a noob, and then by the time he's 6 star, he's all on fire and purple. But his sprite looks badass too. This character is a must-have. If you do get him, be happy. He's an interesting character. He's gonna be one of those characters you're gonna use situationally, but for this event and when you want to steal and do something, he's gonna be number 1. If a boss has a buff that is super annoying, that just like you want to dispel, you could bring him along and turn the tides of that battle where you steal that buff and put it on yourself, on all your allies, and as well as dispelling it off the monster, giving you that freedom to actually take advantage of that. So this is going to be really, really, really cool. Alright, so that guy must have for sure. His TM is badass. The unit himself is just overall badass. Alright, so here's Fvia. So, she's the big kahuna of the banner. 5 star going to 6 star, Spellblade Job, hybrid damage, which is good and bad. Her trust mastery is called Fvia's Needle. It is a sword, attack 92, magic 112, and that's it. As far as the sword itself goes, it's pretty good for any, I would say, hybrid damage dealing characters like herself. You could also put this on X-Death with 3 letter arms and then a dual wield, and you can dual wield these. You can make her do some crazy ass damage with this thing. But overall, the weapon is literally designed for hybrid style character or a mage that can do like a whole wield the sword and then put letter of arms on them to take advantage of it. Overall stats, hit points is very good, her MP is very good, her attack is very good, defense is so magic is very high as well. So you can see that she's hybrid, she's half like literally on par. Growth is pretty good. Nothing for elemental resistances or ailments. She has one major flaw. can only wear swords. So essentially what they're saying with this character is that you want her to be effective, you need to farm out her TM and then use that TM. Otherwise, you're pretty much useless. Like right before this weapon, you can use what? Enhancer. Enhancer has the same benefits. Other than that, you're gonna be like whatever, right? So you can put Enhancer on her if you are a free-to-play player and you did pull her. Otherwise, you're gonna be one of farming out her TM to actually take advantage of it. So she can wear hats, she can wear helms, which is interesting. She can wear cloths, light armor. She can also wear heavy armor and robes, and then accessories, which is a healthy amount of armor selection, but like the weapon selection really kills it. Her affinity for magic is level 8 for black magic and level 7 for green magic, which is okay. Now, on to her abilities, her special abilities. Alright, so she learns Osmosis Blade, which is fine. It's a hybrid style damage. We've seen this before. It steals, what do you call it, MP from the target. Fantastic. She learns Saber Flung. Hybrid damage, 2 times multiplier to one enemy, and removes all stat effects from that enemy. So it's Dispel. It's like a Dispel attack that deals damage. She learns a move called Ice Block. Reduce all damage taken by 75% for one turn to the caster. If you knew there's a big move coming around, instead of guarding, you might as well just cast Ice Block, and she'll take 75% less damage. Ice Age is the next move she learns. It decreases attack by 50% for 3 turns to all enemies, and increases ice resistance by 70% for 3 turns to all allies. So this is kind of like your Barblazera, right? Kind of interesting. Then she does Frost Saber, hybrid ice damage for 2.5 multiplier. It'll add ice element to physical attacks for 5 turns to the caster. So it'll imbue her sword like in trust ice, whatever. So that's kind of cool. She'll deal ice damage, and then she'll also have ice elemental done to her physical attacks for 5 turns. Cool. Second Intention is a hybrid damage attack with a 6 times multiplier to one enemy. That is gonna be a very hard hitting move. The only problem is if, let's say, her physical attack is really strong, but her magic is not strong, then you're going to see a falter in the move. If you can maintain her magic and attack to be similar in strength, so you can get them all to like 200 to 300, then she might be able to hit really, really hard with that move. Frost Splash, hybrid ice damage, 4 times multiplier to all enemies, and all enemies chance to inflict paralyze by 30%. That's a pretty badass move too. AoE, paralyze, and damage. 4 times multiplier is really big on an AoE move. She will also learn Frost Flower Blitz, hybrid ice damage, 8 times multiplier to one enemy, and decrease ice resistance by 50% for 3 turns to one enemy. If she's dual wielding, she does this move, her second move is gonna hit like a goddamn truck. She's gonna destroy whoever she hits when she uses this the second time. Especially if they're not resistant to ice, she'll do the ice debuff the first round, the second round it's gonna hit and it's gonna just devastate. And on top of that, it is a 7 hit move. So if you have 2 Fvias or whatever, chaining with her might be interesting. The question only is how hard is it going to be to chain with her, and is it possible to chain her with Orlando or any of the future characters? That's going to be something that's more of the whales will be able to test out for us for sure. Her traits and effects: Pride of Fvia increases attack and magic by 30% when equipped with a sword. Obviously, that's all she can wear. Increases magic by 30%, thank God. Cold and Confident increases MP by 30% and ice resistance by 20%. Sweet. Flash Step, chance to evade physical damage taken by 20% and magic by 20%. So she will actually get, you can actually build her as an evasion unit, but she also has a chance to evade magic altogether, which is really, really interesting. She gets Duelist Pose, which is double hand. So she gets double hand. So boost equipment attack by 100% and magic by 50% when it's single wielding, which is not bad. Actually, it's pretty cool. So you can actually put double hand on her, and that they're kind of giving you, saying like, look, you can do a lot of damage with this, or you can end up doing 14 attacks if you dual wield. So this is going to be something that I really want to know what the whales are going to pick. Are they going to pick double hand and then just use the one hand and then do it that way? Or are you going to be doing dual wield and then just try to do it like a chain set? If you're doing chaining, you might want to do double hand, or sorry, dual wield to get more attacks out for chaining. Or if you just want to do like one set of damage, then I guess just have the one sword. Royal Blood increases resistance to blind, paralyzed, and confused, which is really good to have on any kind of melee style character. MP recovery, Icy Aura, 7%, not bad. And then she's got the last one here called I Shall Not Lose. Chance to ignore fatal damage 100% when hit points is above 20%. So she can do that one time. So she's got 20% hit points or more. She takes fatal damage, she will not die, she will actually ignore it. Alright, now her limit burst is called Ice Prism. Prison, hybrid ice damage, 6.4 multiplier to all enemies, and it's got an 84% chance of inflicting stop, which is pretty cool. So overall, this unit is pretty badass. Her sprite looks really cool, all ice storm blizzard theme. As far as do I think you guys should go pull for him, I honestly don't know. This character is iffy. I mean, like, we just had Orlando tops her easily, so I don't really know if this is something that you guys are going to want to jump on. I'm avoiding this banner altogether. I'm just going to do my daily pulls. If I do get her, hooray. If I don't, whatever. I just want Zon. He's the prize here because of his AoE steal and that ability to steal debuffs. I can definitely see that being useful in a lot of bosses where the boss buffs themselves, so you can steal the buff from them. So overall, how is the banner? The banner is really good as far as getting a bunch of cool TMs. Freya's needle is really cool. Oh, sorry, Fvia's needle is good. The patches is actually really interesting and pretty cool as well. And then you got Aiden's vestment, which is a really nice body to have on any style of healer because of the refresh. So overall, I think the banner is pretty cool. The characters are actually really neat. And they're unique as far as what they bring to the table. I just don't think it's one of those banners that people should be going Arm & Hammer and Bacon Soda on, because Orlando's just so fresh, and we know that other characters are coming around the corner. They're going to be just far more powerful, like Onion Knight and Elaine, for those of you who like Elaine, and so on and so forth. So I would probably just stick around and wait. Just kind of, you know, don't go crazy on this banner unless you really want Fvia. I wouldn't really go Arm & Hammer and Bacon Soda. Alright, so thank you guys so much for sticking around. If you did enjoy the video, definitely hit that like button and subscribe button if you are new. I know that these videos are a little bit long, but anyways, we want to make sure we cover all the information all in one video, so we don't have to come back and be like, but what about this, man? Just get it all out of the way, right? Do one Vortie style video and call it a day. Alright, thank you guys so much for sticking around. I hope you guys enjoyed this event. The prices for some of the crafts are a little bit off, but the characters themselves are actually pretty neat. The story seems pretty cool. I like Aiden's backstory. He's kind of an angry white mage, which is really cool. But anyways, thank you guys so much for sticking around. This is Vortie. I will see you guys in the next video, and happy huntings. I'm out of here. Peace.
Decided.